Week 3, give it up for week 3. We have made it to ETF2L's week 3 of their 6v6 season 50. This is Essentials TF. I'm TurboTabs. I'm joined in the channel with Samus on production and Cerny on the co-cast. Cerny,
Yes, hi, that's me.
Aragosta. This is your first time, correct?
It's my first time seeing them play this season, at least, yeah. I haven't followed the other matches yet, and to be fair, they were pretty rough. We're looking at the stat lines. They've had a rough start to the season so far, going up against the Frenchies last week, right? And then Bloodsail, the MAC team, I believe, week 1. Those are decently heavy hitters this season so far. It's in general, it's a kind of tightly matched season, right? For the most part, anyway. But yeah, they've had a rough start so far. It doesn't necessarily get any easier going up against the MAGGOTS now as well, but perhaps this is the week. Perhaps the maps will suit them. Who knows, right?
Yeah, they were kind of counted out by a lot of teams. I think obviously somebody has to take the wooden spoon at the end of this, but even Aragosta were thinking, no, we will not end simply on 0 points. No, that is not going to happen, because they've already knocked off their own points. They're -1 right now because they ended up doing some chicanery against the ETF2L rules. Maybe we won't change the map so quickly, Davey. But anyway, I digress. Let's go through some of these two teams, Cerny, and what is a team but its players. Have you got a particular favorite? Do you feel more Maggoty or do you feel more Italian?
I mean, I haven't watched the MAGGOTS last week as well. And to be fair, considering that this is at least half of the team that won last season, even though there's like 3 asterisks you can put onto that title, right? Like, oh, there wasn't a lot of competition. It was like a kind of like a weak season, and also they changed half their team now, which, to be fair, are mostly upgrades. But they are definitely going to be the favorite team headed into this. No doubt about it, right? Af and Voxy on the scouts, a strong scout duo. KN might be like one of, if not the best soldier in Europe right now. Jordy's just really solid as well. Zams is really solid. Piggles is obviously an amazing medic. Like, there's a strong team to be going up against, even if they've just recently, as of this season, got this exact permutation down. Well, you've got some, like less experienced players on the other side. You also have a lot of experienced players, but I feel like they're just kind of like thrown together. It almost seems like a bit of a mixed team, right?
Well, they were around last season, and I think they have kind of stuck together. They do have a new face in the shape of Vanu, but those same players are Juxto on Scout, Seer and Mackie on the Soldier classes, Davies on the Demo Man, and Hyman Slayer is on the Medic class. But are they the Maggot Slayer? Do you believe it in your heart, Cerny?
I mean, yeah, that's the question, right? It's another solid team talent-wise that we're looking at with Aragosta, and they've just not been able to really show what they're capable of so far, with maybe unfavorable matchups. Maybe it's the maps. We're going to be looking at Metalworks Granary today, which
what
is
no
is something
sunshine,
unusual. No sunshine.
no sunshine. Oh my god! Wow,
It's crazy.
I guess we've had enough of going outside here on the Essentials channel. Thank God, goodness. I was not appreciating that map. It's nice to see some variety in our seasons, and maybe this is similar for the teams as well. I mean, you could almost look at these matches as like forced scrims, Cerny. Do you think this is a good opportunity for the teams to do some variety of their map pool, or do you think you should always pick your best map going into these sort of little map picks and bans?
I mean, that's curious, because like before, I don't know if this was last week or the week before. I don't know if we even talked about it on stream, or if this was in the pre-stream just chatting, how we were wondering which teams are even going to consider picking something like Badlands, right? Because it is back in the rotation. Nobody really wants to play it, but I do remember, I believe at least Mac team was willing potentially to perhaps do a little bit of Badlands chicanery, which is, I suppose, something that you could see. But I feel like I would like to see the variety, right? Like, yeah, everybody loves Sunshine, evidently. Everybody likes playing it, but at the end of the day, especially if you were to be looking future bound, were to be looking playoffs, you get a little less control over what you can't play, because you have to play more maps and you might not even get to choose them. So having a broader pool of stuff that you can play is probably a good idea.
I think it's a tough order, I would say, for these team leaders. If you get put into these situations like, okay, ETF2 will have brought out a new map, is this map still going to be here next season? Am I going to be wasting like 10 hours going in the lab, figuring out the best way to play these mids, and then just for it to never get played or instantly banned out in every single permutation of how we could be playing or have the opportunity to play this map. So I can understand. I give a pittance to these players. They can't really spare the time, I think, to play on Badlands because it's just too uncertain with whether or not it's going to stay in the pool. And, if you have a way to even force it.
I guess. Suppose if you do get first pick and somehow it doesn't get banned right away, you could, go out of your way to play it. But at that point, why not just play something you're confident on? I get you. It's also funny you call Badlands a new map. That's
I mean,
cool,
you know it,
twist.
I know it. This is basically a new map to all these Gen Z people here. I'm pretty sure there's not a single person in this server that has the word 19 written on their license.
That's actually crazy to think about. That
yeah, it's 25. It's year 2025, my man. That's 25 years old.
Damn. People born in like 2007 are adults
Certainly,
now.
The Matrix was 25 years ago. Actually, 26.
I was 1 when that came out. That's crazy. Anyway.
Certainly, the Simpsons movie came out further long ago than... Okay, I can't explain this point, but it's a really old map for a movie now.
Yeah, also, they're making a new one. Did you see that? Anyway.
Yeah, the announcement of that, the gap is bigger between that than the Simpsons other movie being announced and the Simpsons starting.
That's wild. Time flies. Time sure does fly. Time does not fly when teams are still getting ready, wanting to play. So, Turbo, give me an idea here. Do you believe in Aragosta? What is the scoreline going to look like at the end of at least this map in about 30 minutes time? Is there going to be a sweep 5-1, 5-2 or something like that? Or is there going to be a closely fought situation?
I think we're going to see a long first round. I think Aragosta do have these sort of little bit of fundamentals, but I think teams kind of figure it out and they get ran away a bit. And I'm not sure how much of it is mental breakdown as well. Again, we're making guesses here, so we can't possibly know without being in the mumble room with them. But I'm going to take a guess that the first round will be quite long, about 10 minutes, and then somebody will get their foot onto the board, and then the Dirty Maggots will make their adaptations, and it'll end in like a 5-1 or something.
I can see that. I certainly wouldn't disagree. That would have been probably my reasonable path, but in favor of being contrarian and not going with exactly the same prediction, I'm going to say it's going to not go to round limit. Aragosta are going to be able to hang on for a while longer. It's not just going to be one long round. It might be a couple. And we're going to be looking at like a 4-1 or a 4-2 or something like that. Still going the way of Maggots, obviously, but...
What if I sweeten the deal, Sony, and say that Metalworks is the map pick of Aragosta?
Well, they're clearly confident in playing it, evidently. So, I'll lean heavier towards the 4-2.
1 round for the boys. If you're just joining us, this is Essentials.tf. This is our coverage of ETF2L 6v6 Season 50. It's Week 3. I'm Turbo Tams. I'm joined with Cerny and Samus on production. It's Aragosta versus the Dirty Maggots. Let's see what's happening on mid. Already, no... So, wait, Mackie kind of on a fast roll out, but he's not going to go for that Darrow Man. That's not really kosher or popular nowadays in the world of Metalworks. We're just kind of chilling on our own little valleys and just seeing if we can win the high ground for free, but nobody even wants the stinking high ground. Volno's teasing and tempting it, but they want to keep their eyes on Geordie first. With him taking out the picture, now the soldiers can start going aggressive, and my god, this was such a nothing burger of a mid here, Cerny.
Yeah, like nothing happens at all. Mackie eventually gets cleaned up on the other side, and neither team really doing much beyond that. Obviously, Maggots backing off a bit, finally maybe deciding to re-aggress a bit now that the point is flipped possession. There goes Sia, so that's a soldier out of the equation, and perhaps this is enough to get the Maggots a little bit of extra steam here again. They do have a respawn coming as well, and the Ubers are being exchanged as we speak. Unfortunately, though, Davey immediately caught out of it. Kayan dies on the other side, but it's not much to write home about. It's still a better Uber for the Maggots at the end of the day, and yeah, Varnu is hiding, but is that going to be enough? That will get spotted immediately, okay.
Yep. It's very much paint by numbers here on this mid-exchange. You lose your Demo Man, that's a big asset in the world of TF2, you need to back out. So they're backing out, they're already trying to defend Ali a bit proactively by sending both of the soldiers in. Seal will go down, but Davies only just joins the fray now and has to immediately back out because they've lost that additional player. But they won't have Ubers between these two teams, which is a bit of an unusual mark at this point of the game, so this will buy time for the Aragosta squad.
And that depends on how fast Maggots want to move here, right? Soldier's already in behind, just being a bit of a nuisance here. Jordy does get cleaned up, but KN is on the other side, causing a bit of havoc as well. They're not giving them a lot of time to really set up. There's the sentry taken out of the equation, and they lost Mackie as well, so it's not looking great for this Aragosta defense right now. They're really not getting the time they need to set something up, and as the Maggots establish himself, as you know, Jordy comes back to the front line as well, we could even be looking at just a cheeky exchange or something. They did send in Sia as well in the backline in the meantime, who, again, didn't really accomplish much. And losing a player when you're defending, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot a little bit, because now there you go. Big aggression coming in, KN with the bomb. Unfortunately, the sentry is there to juggle him out of the way, and Boxy is cleaned up in the meantime, but it's an attempt. They got that for free, basically. They had nothing to lose for that one.
Well, they're jumping high to the Hyman Slayer. Thank goodness for the Iron Man armor for Hyman Slayer, because otherwise that jump from Jordy would have definitely done damage to their poor medic on Aragosta. So now they're back over on their second point, waiting to see if the push out will happen from Aragosta, but it's a tall order, it's a tall ask, so they're actually going to totally back out.
Time being, and they're sending in the cavalry, aka Voxy, on the sniper, to maybe make a bit of a difference here, be the thing that cracks this defense open for Maggots. They've been struggling to really find the exact way to open it up so far. They had a couple of attempts with bombs, but I guess this is what they're going for instead now. Find this guy in angle, see if he can get onto anything. Unfortunately, with the shutter now wide open, and maybe Aragosta getting a bit wary of how defensive and backwards Maggots are playing. Not very aggressive right now. It's giving them the fright here. They've definitely seen the dot at this point. They're aware that that sniper is going to be an issue. Staying out of sight lines for the time being. So they're going to have to work for this headshot if they really want to get it out of Boxy.
While we're delaying time for the sniper to do work, I just want to point out teleporter exit from Varnu. Putting it on that particular spot, it allows you to actually like, little hop over back onto that bit. Usually you can't actually jump onto that blue crate from the point, but because of that lift of the teleport exit, you can.
Well, curious. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it amounted to much for anything here. Both soldiers dead for the side of Maggots. They only found Varnu as the engineer frag, the one thing that really matters. While Hyman Slayer took 0 damage inside the dispenser. So again, not much accomplished. Maybe hoping that it would be aggressive here, but Aragosta know what's at stake. They're not going to push out into a sniper like this. They're just going to wait out the round timer. At this point, half the round's gone. You got 2.5 minutes left. I mean, you can probably hold boss for that long unless you really mess up here, but they've been solid on this last defense so far. They've ruled it with an iron fist, and I don't think they're going to be giving it up anytime soon.
There's a lot of confidence in that dispenser armor there, especially with Hyman Slayer just firmly planted feet and expecting that they're not going to be able to shoot through all of the dispenser. But a level 3 dispenser's got a lot of health packing onto it. You saw 2 soldiers there, Cerny, and none of the 6 rockets could have actually impacted and hurt Hyman Slayer at all.
Yeah,
he takes another 2 rockets for free from the dispenser, and he's fine.
Yeah, you need like at least 2 direct rockets to even take it down in the first place, so that's damage absorbed entirely that the medic isn't eaten, and at that point, you know, getting 2 rockets off when you're walking into a last like this to begin with is already a high order, so yeah, doesn't really seem to be holding up anytime, or like giving up anytime soon. Boxy dying as well, trying to get the snipe in, so again, Maggots really struggling to find something here to get into this last somehow.
Well, certainly, fortunately for you, I've hit the lab, I've hit the pubs, and I know the exact sort of technology you can use to bust through this this dispenser defense. While soldiers' rockets can't go through a dispenser, did you know pipes do? Pipes splash through completely, so if they just start bombing in Zams here, which I don't think he'll want to do, a lot of players will not risk their demo man on these little push-outs, but if he can get like 2 pipes involved, that will kill Hyman Slayer through the dispenser, but they have to kind of posture him to do so, and a Demo Man bomb is a lot harder than a soldier bomb.
Yeah, it was interesting as well. They were trying to send Foxy there on the right side. Just opting for the Uber exchange instead. Now, very fair. They've gotten tired of it. They just want to make something happen. Anything, any action whatsoever. Put a bit of cap time on, especially with 30 seconds left on the clock as well. There's little to lose at this point for the side of Maggots if they can just get onto that point in the first place. If not, it's a round reset, which sucks for them, but, you know, it's not like they're going to push out on the other side, so you might as well send it. Might as well go in, see what you can do. There's crits ready on the engineer as well, which is a scary side to maybe going up against, but they got to get on that point if they want to have anything done here. Or it will be another mid-fight on the way, and unfortunately, it's not really going in favor of the Maggots right now. They've lost a couple of players, make that 3. Samus and F, the only DPS left to try and get over this point, and they just can't get there in time.
Yeah, it's just way too hard. I think obviously we need to just think of other things outside of a sniper to deal with all this pressure play of the sentry gun. I mean, a sniper can work, but it's very fringe moments where you could maybe get out from one particular sight line and then maybe get a snipe on the medic. But I think I've only really seen it like done in that that LAN clip, I think, coming out from Ghazi in the LAN final. Otherwise, it's really hard to snipe.
Yeah, it's tall order, and Boxy, I guess, not quite him at that point. Anyway, you know, mid-fight, it's like nothing ever happened. We just traveled forward 7.5 minutes in time, and suddenly there's another mid-fight, and this time around, Maggots, a lot more initiative, very aggressive. Jordy in deep with the early bomb, K with the follow-up as well, but neither of them get the crucial target. Eventually, Mackie gets cleaned up, but that's all they find, and half his things are low as well.
Boxy.
Okay, Boxy, just 2 shots of Arnu like that, fair enough.
He's invisible! He's still going!
Somehow gets away with everything. Well, up until that point. But still, that's looking alright for Maggots for a while there. Even though they lost both of their soldiers, they still win. They still win the mid, and it's only Juxta escorting out his medic at the time. So, hey, a 1 mid again. Even a bit faster this time around, but crucially, Hyman Slayer stays alive. There's an Uber in play for Aragosta, and they're going to be able to hang on to their second probably as well. Fairly well, and Varnu is already on the spy.
Yeah, I think we're just getting a bit confident over on Aragosta. Obviously, we cleaned up those 2 soldiers, so with the player advantage, we think, oh, we can get aggressive here. It's okay if we die, but not to die that quickly and that suddenly on one of the scouts. You got to avoid these kill zones, you know, these double meat shot territories where you can just lose a scout just like that.
Oh, they didn't see the ammo pack disappear? Oh, that's scary. Decloak behind the demo. A bit ambitious. Boxy had that one in the corner of his eye or his ear, either one. It's not going to make it any better, and that opens things a little bit.
Actually, they're going for Hyman Slayer. He goes inside, he actually pops the Uber, and they lose 2 frags because of it as well, because Hyman Slayer really wanted to keep his Uber charge and backed into the safety of his little room, but that's away from the rest of his team members, and he still pops the boot, so it's like the worst of both worlds there.
And this gives a prime opportunity for the Maggots now. Full Uber into last. Nobody's even there to protect the point. Matter of fact, they didn't need that Uber at all. Af just walks on the point and wins. Nobody from Aragosta was even gonna try to fight that one. I mean, perhaps throwing the towel a little bit soon. They could have. There's in a universe in which you can win that, but they decided they weren't gonna do much and just go for another mid-fight instead. Have another attempt here, and finally the Maggots put a round on the board after about 10 minutes.
Wow.
As you were saying, even though it was technically 2 rounds, but here we are.
I'm going to start buying lottery tickets. I'm feeling lucky. And, well, let's see if Aragosta are feeling these mids. The first mid, actually, well, the second mid went fairly well to start off dealing with these soldiers, so maybe they can just continue in that light. As we are on to our third mid. Geordie is not going to go nearly as brave as last time. They're going to instead focus on these soldiers over on the side of Aragosta, but Varnu actually showing the first sign of weakness in all the pressure pop, and they try to respond with Sierra with his own bomb, won't find a frag unfortunately, and Mackie might as well be out against the rest of his squad, and it frees the rest of Dirty Maggots to make the jump and make the transition into these chasers.
How did he get behind so deep so quickly? He was literally behind the combo and just beefed a couple of shots.
Oh
Still wins the fight anyway on Juxta and is already on second, capping it off now. Aragosta, they're gonna try to fight this, obviously. They have a full Uber in tow, even if half their team is missing from the fight, but it's not an amazing position to be in.
I wouldn't recommend it if I was, you know, but they're going to see if they can just be annoying over on this second point, stop them from capping. It is a fairly innocuous cap to make, as it's such a tiny square to say it's like the location of it. They pop off Uber, they're going over the Hyman Slayer though. He's been cut off, disconnected from his scout buddy, and now he has to spend the last couple of seconds of this Uber to disconnect anyways, and fortunately Hyman Slayer will get out, but This is just an exchange for the second point, and they actually lose out a couple of players as well. Mackie goes down. Varnu's taking the fight against Af. Af even cleans up that kill. They're losing every single skirmish here, Cerny. They're just getting hived in the DM server.
Oh, but there's a backstep by KN, and that's what's really funny, because it was so unnecessary. Anyway, look at that, another round one for Maggots. I mean, that was one as soon as that Uber just did not go well for Aragosta at all, right? That Uber exchange went horridly. Heimenster didn't have anything to really use that Uber on. Nobody was in position besides Varnu, who then gets caught behind and can't even get a single frag to trade out, so it just fell apart as soon as that happened, and now Maggots are up 2-0 with, well, plenty of time left on the clock, mind you, for Aragosta to try and find their way back into this, but they gotta start locking in for these mids. They haven't been looking too convincing on them so far. They get a couple of frags, they have a bit of control early sometimes, but as soon as some aggression comes across from the Maggots, they kind of start losing it, and unless they manage to find some sort of response for this mid fight now, it's not gonna be looking all that different either. Again, have a bit of aggression early, but Sia's the first to fall. There goes Varnu as well, and at this point, it's probably already a done deal.
A lot of strengths being shown by. Oh, we do go into a pause though. Don't worry, we're not lagging out here on the stream. This is an actual pause. But I was about to say that the Dirty Maggots showing a lot of variety in their mids here. It shows that they can, well, beef on the aggressive mid, do okay on these sort of medium mids, and now in their like sort of defensive mana mids, they can show a strong suiting as well. They are literally treating this quite like a training session. It looks like.
Yeah, just getting all the different kinds of mids in, see what they can workshop. Or maybe Aragosta doing the same thing, right? Throwing different things out there, seeing what sticks, and unfortunately, nothing really sticking ever right at this point. Unfortunately, positioning just seems to be always in favor for the Maggots. If they're aggressive, they just pressure Aragosta back so far that even if both soldiers die on that mid fight, the rest of the team is in such a good position to just follow up and shut down everybody else. And if they're aggressive on the own side of Aragosta, they get shut down instead, right? So they're not really finding the footing they need here, and it kind of always spirals, right? Lord knows what the pause is for. Perhaps it's a bit strategy talk because it's another quick round they lose. Perhaps somebody crashed. Who knows? But perhaps that's also been why they've been underperforming. Maybe one of their players has been lagging, right? You can always theorize about what's been going on and what's been keeping them back, but they've just not been looking cohesive enough against the Maggots right now. Like the first round, they were putting up a fight and they were holding last very well. I mean, they managed to get a round reset out of it, but holding last alone doesn't win you the game. And if they've never even seen the enemy side of the map, you know, it's looking a bit dire right now.
I think using a tactical pause to talk through your mids is, I think, a very good use of the tactical pause. Kind of break down exactly, because it's very complex what's happening on mid, what the issues are, going through everybody's sort of personal triumphs and kind of difficulties, and the 10 seconds you have on rollout, where also your demo man is not listening. He is busy looking at the road, you know, driving the car right now to before he can really contribute to what's going on in these mids. So I assume this is what they're using the talk for, as just a quick little change around. They have got time to do this change around though. There's 15 minutes left. That's plenty of time in the world of TF2 to make these sorts of little comebacks happen. They have the confidence to know that the last defense works when they get it in fruition, but it's just everything else is going a bit awkward and forcing these fights, and that might be a little bit due to the scoreline as well. So I'm going to forgive their sins a little bit on the second point and some of these Ubers. But what I want to talk to you, Cerny, while we've got the time, is these scout Ubers. You know, these sort of Thomas style, like, we're just going to pop in this one dude, he gets all the Uber, he does what he wants, he's going to make a multi and all this. And you see a lot of copycats and everybody's doing it. I'm doing it in my low games here and all this, and then I miss all my shots and I die and all this. Is it really like truly the one size fits all for all of TF2? Do you think like this stuff is overhyped, or am I just going crazy here? Am I just seeing one too many scout Ubers?
It is extremely strong. Obviously, there's a reason why it works so well for Witness, right? For Thomas. And then some other people have made it work as well. But I think it's more than just, oh, we use the scout through. You need a lot of it is positioning as well. If you can't get in deep before you even use the Uber, you're spending like half if not 3/4 of your Uber time just trying to get close to the enemy team. And once they see that you're shiny, they're just going to hold S. And even though Scout is fast, he's not going to be the easiest at closing that distance. You know, Scout's not going to have the easiest time closing that distance necessarily as like a soldier or a demo necessarily would. So, plus, if you're doing that Scout Uber and the rest of your team isn't in a good position, they're just going to get caught out, right? The enemies are just going to scatter. Half of them, like the combo's going to hold S, so they're just out of harm's way. Or worst case, they're going to pop their Uber later and have a better Uber. And then the rest of the team is just going to pick apart your combo, your flank and stuff. So, you know, you need to have a very high degree of coordination to actually be able to pull it off effectively. It's not as simple as, oh, we'll right-click in our Scout. Anyway, game is picking up again. The pause has ended. It probably was a little tactical talk. I guess we'll know in about a minute's time what exactly transpired, but for the time being, this round still continues on. Aragosta, well, they're still hanging in there, right? They did lose the mid again,
Davey,
but...
excuse me, why are we playing Deadly Stare contest against the enemy there, my bud? Okay, so he's going to go down. This is the worst time for a demo man on your team to go down. He's a very valuable asset at last point. Varno is decided to immediately come up in heavy weapons guy. No time for an engineer, so... and I'm not entirely sure what the respawn rates are, where they will get Davey actually back in time. Maybe this is when the pause happened, as we are posturing for a last push over on Dirty Maggots, and Mackie will clean up AF and KN over on this flank side, so I guess that was just their sort of little flank combo to see if they can get the Uber out of Hyman Slayer, but it won't happen today.
Yeah, and actually this is going to be a bit of aggression out of Aragosta. They're feeling themselves with 2 picks on in their favor, at least for a little bit, to get a bit of aggression down here in lobby, send somebody in behind, right? You have a soldier in now, but unfortunately Sia just dies, and now that's curtains on that. Now you just got to make sure that you don't lose it trying to get back to last, and KN is already up on the spy again as well, trying to, you know, throw a little bit of something in here, and I guess this is where the pause happens, because Jordy timed out. He clearly crashed out of the server, for whatever reason.
Oh my god, that's not one ice statue, but that's 2 ice statues. Look how artistic this last point is looking right now, all thanks to KN. And oh no, they're actually going to cut off their ear over on poor Aragosta. Oh, I thought Sia was actually going to get picked off there, but Mackie is buying a lot of time for his team to just spam them out. Look at all the damage he's done, but they will pop off the Uber, and what is a damaged teammate if they're all invulnerable now? Sia's gonna go down, the dominoes are falling one by one. The dominoes don't even have to kill the other dominoes, they can just cap the point. But they're actually going to take their sweet time with it, they're toying with them. Varnu gets cleaned up, the medic even dies as well. 3-0 on the line.
That is, I mean, it happens so quickly for us in real time, but the fact that the pause comes through, and just as the unpause happens, Hyman Slayer instantly gets backstabbed. That is absolute cinema. That is unbelievable cinematic. Like, KN had to stand there for 2 whole minutes just watching the prize right before him and just being held away from it, cock-blocked ever so slightly before he finally gets that relief. I mean, hey, it won them the round. 3 up now for a set of Maggots. Aragosta, I gotta start finding some sort of response to this. 15 minutes again. Plenty of time to get 3 rounds on the board, but they gotta start getting them on the board, and they started winning the mid fights, which, well, they're still not doing okay. Of course, Varnu going down first, and it's a lot of players low in general. I mean, even Hyman Slayer being out of the equation means nobody's getting healed either on that mid for a while, and that 2 players down means they're out of the equation once more for this mid fight, trying to hold on to second instead.
Yeah, Varnu going down as obviously they just lacking just that one extra player just to deal off of all the tension and aggression from all these opposing players, and it obviously frees up some others to deal with the Seer Bomb and all these other little sort of butterfly effects happening. But they will throw a couple of squad mates to see if they can force out Hyman Slayer. They won't get that, but they will get a couple of picks in trying to defend against all this chaos, but they're going to make the push out regardless, because we are 3 rounds down. We need to get a bit proactive here on the side of Aragosta, and Hyman Slayer brought down very low, but won't pop off just yet. They're just going to back off to second instead.
It's very, very reasonable. They just couldn't move fast enough. The respawners are a scary proposition at that point, and yeah, that's fair, but Yeah, slowing the game down certainly doesn't favor you when you are down 3 rounds and you're trying to get something on the board at this point. So we're really gonna need to see a lot of good stuff out of Aragosta soon. Even just some plays getting made, right? Everybody's been kind of quiet. There hasn't been nothing, no playmaking has worked, no off-classing if they even tried it has managed to work so far, and they just can't really just keep standing back and waiting for stuff to happen. Because now Kayan is in with a bomb, does a lot of damage, but doesn't really get the follow-up kill just yet, as Samus eats a lot on the other side as well, and Davey will eventually go down. That just opens things up beautifully for the Maggots here. No stickies to worry about, means they can just stick on that point. That's another soldier cleaned up as well. See out of the equation, and this is a last push waiting to happen now for the Maggots.
I like the execution of Kayan's plan there, where he just took the kind of lobby room and just stayed there, and then when he brought 2 players back, he just switched it and went back onto the point, and now they have the less superior position. They just traded a room for a room, and Kayan knows that he wants that room, but they know that room is a lot less valuable to the rest of Aragosta.
And just like that, they also got the force out of Hyman Slayer, and things are looking dire. At least they got a full team. At least they might be able to establish a bit of a defense here, right? Varnu's on the NG, you got Chuckstaw on the sniper as well. A cheeky headshot here could turn the tides of this last hold, but Maggots are aware he's there. They've spotted him, and now they're not going to be turning corners blindly without making sure that they're not going to lose their heads. So Juxta is going to pick up that heavy instead.
Davy's going to go down. Oh, it's way too close for a Demoman to be holding. To say an Uber charge could come in at any moment, and 2 soldiers go onto the point to block. Successful in this attempt. Varnu brought down very low, will go down, and now there's only 2 fragging classes left to deal with. Juxta's also going to go down to all the aggression of Dirty Maggots, but they're making a go of it. Hyman Slayer, actually, surprisingly, that's a good medic death, drawing aggro away from his combat class to maybe buy time for Davey, but it's just not enough time, I'm afraid. And it's 4-0 for Dirty Maggots, and this is the map pick as well, I believe, for Aragosta. It's not good, Cerny.
It's not looking that hot, and there's going to be a bit of salt in the in-game chat already. Varnu being upset about the pause, being abused to win somehow. I don't know how that, the backstep was probably going to happen anyway, but I suppose they were a bit scattered.
Did they call the pause over on Dirty Maggots? They were
yes,
like,
because Jordy crushed. So that was the reason why. Anyway, we're into what potentially could be the last mid-fight if Dirty Maggots keep up their momentum. But maybe Aragosta are going to have the craziest comeback you've ever seen with 10 minutes left on the clock. They're going to pick up 4 rounds back to back to back.
Oh, nice.
An early frag for once. Jordy's hitting the first frag, but they have no position. They're all just in lobby. And Voxy's in behind, tearing up the backline already as well. That's back out of the equation. They're so low. Nobody's got any health. Hyman Slayer is spread thin, trying to keep anybody alive, and somehow they do keep everybody alive and actually kill Af in the crossfire as well. And it's a 1 mid for Aragosta.
Yeah, defense has worked out for Aragosta. Obviously, Sia picked the right door to help hold from, whilst KM picked the wrong door. Got the early pick in there. They maybe almost fluffed it, as they forget that Voxy can take the very same door as well, and kept their eyes away from it for a second. But we go for a reset here over on the second point for Dirty Maggots. We still got our Uber charge. Piggles, he's not hiding. He's not scared. He's using his Uber proactively, it almost looks like. And Hyman Slayer is going to join him with the Uber charge as well. And that was purely it. No fighting, just an Uber exchange and then a back out.
Well, it's something at least. Again, they're being proactive. They need to do something. The ball is in their court squarely, and they got to get it out of there plenty of times over. So, Varnu being very aggressive around the corner as well. Does a bit of damage, but ultimately they're going to have to wait this one out, probably for another Uber charge. That's at this point Aragosta's best bet. Probably try and get something going. Try and maybe see if the Sia bomb does anything. It's pretty good, but unfortunately it lands on top of nobody, and just ends up being cleaned up with Mackie out of the equation as well. Now things are looking kind of nice. If you're looking from the side of Dirty Maggots, it's an opportunity to get yourself some more aggression into mid here and maybe pick up a scout.
Wild push from Varnu. I don't know what he was thinking there, but he's going to get gobbled up on the flank. And now, poor Davey, he can't really stand his ground over on this midpoint. They might actually lose out to KN here. They've doubled up on the soldiers. They're going to focus this Demoman to stop him from getting back into this middle point, and they will get the respawn advantage now that they've claimed the midpoint.
They do have that, and Ubers are still in play as well. Varnu on the sniper. seeing if that can be the difference maker. It's an odd situation to snipe in. And with a bomb in as well, but no, does get the force off. That's all that matters. That's all he wanted there, and that Uber is not going to do anything. So it's going to be down to now how they approach this, just trying to get something. But it's just not looking that hot, man. Come on, Varnu. This headshot is going to be the one that changes around.
He gets the Zams. That's a pretty good pick.
Yeah, it's a decent one. Certainly slows them down on the side of Dirty Maggots, but now 8 minutes for 4 rounds. The time is ticking away. They got to keep moving, man.
Oh, we've got the force with Sia over against Piggles. That is another check off the checklist. That's pretty good. But now they've only got a sniper though to defend with. This is pretty hard in this position of the map, but they will get the pick onto Geordie, who's getting a bit excited, wants to go aggressive, buy some room for his team, but his team doesn't make use of the room. Nice fight coming in from Davey, gets a good amount of damage, will get turned around, but the pick comes out from Varnu again across the way in this lower position, and now they're going to get berserk here over on Dirty Maggots. They want the Hyman Slayer kill, and they want it now, but can they really identify where he is? He's in the low ground. They throw a scout in, but in all the chaos he will go down as well. Av blindly goes in. It's
oh my God.
Sam's turn as well. They dodge everything and all of it, and they will keep Hyman Slayer alive.
That was some of the most incredible juking and dodging I've seen out of a medic in quite a while. Also, Varnu showing incredible patience on the sniper there. Doesn't go for the first shot in alley. Doesn't go for the immediate drop shot, even though it would have looked great in the frag movie. Just biding his time, getting that shot eventually when it matters. Now, KN on the sniper loses to Varnu.
Hit the taunt.
That's a fair taunt. Now, come on, they were teammates like 2 seasons ago. Yeah, that is fair.
It's also a 4-0. Do you have time to taunt? You need to get on your bike and start capping rounds, my son. You've got 4 minutes left.
Well, you know, whatever. It's about sending a message. It's not about winning. And just a body shot there, unfortunately. But Varnu sniper seems to be making a difference at least
Davey's
a little bit here.
Nobody else is in.
Okay.
They dropped Davey during the Uber exchange. I don't know what the plan was there, but they're just going to Uber back over on the enemy squad. Sia kind of joins in for this post-Uber, but that was a very confused goal assessment for the rest of Aragosta there. I weren't sure if everybody was on the same page.
Yeah, probably not. Again, I feel like they were trying to bite their time with the fact that they had a sniper and all that, and you know,
Jody
kind of got lost. There's Mackie out of the equation as well, and now with 6 minutes left on the clock and 4 rounds to be captured, plus seconds getting lost again, we might have entered garbage time at this point. I think we might just be at the point where there's little to be done for Aragosta. They have to concede this. It's a nice little headshot there onto Voxy, but ultimately the outcome of the map isn't going to change, especially with Hyman's there dead as well. It's just going to get even harder to even put on a round at this point.
Well, we're going in dry. Bite the pillow, Cerny, as we will not need any healings or any Ubers. We're just going to dig deep, go the second point. We do get a nice set of frags, but Piggles and Af play for the long game. They go all the way back. They bank their Uber for this last defense. They don't need to win here, Cerny. They just need to waste time.
Oh my God!
Oh my God, Oxy!
Varnu, you should have just been sniping from the get-go, bro. Clearly, this was the difference maker. You should have just been on sniper from the start of the map. You're making all the difference right now. Even if it's going to get them around.
They don't need the Uber either. They don't need the heal.
Turns out they can just kill everybody. It doesn't matter. I was gassing them up, and then they lose 4 players immediately. So clearly they were just looking for frags. They were looking for hype moments. They weren't actually looking to win. They've
got this Uber now. They can use this on the aggression, and they're positioned very aggressively over on Aragosta, so they can go quite the bloodbath. It's an NA Uber. Pop in, as we're seeing if we can find anybody to get with this Uber charge. They just find Mackie, but I don't think they needed the Uber for that. And you could maybe look at this as a win over on the side of Aragosta, but they have to go into the belly of the beast, certainly. They can't keep waiting about for the Varnu sniper to clean them up. They will throw in KN in the air, he gets gobbled up, but the flank has been eviscerated, and now there's a back cap to worry about.
You know, there was like a chance here for Aragosta to actually put a round on the board, but I think they've realized their plight, and Varnu is just farming frags now. I mean, that would have been a nice shot at the Piggles. Unfortunately, doesn't quite land it, and does eventually get cleaned up, but the back cap pulls back any sort of aggression it could have been for Aragosta to try and get back into this mid, right? And it's just over, I think, at this point. Even if they're not going to do anything, the 30 Maggots aren't going to close it out 5-0. There's nothing that Aragosta can do, right?
Yeah.
So
Keep in mind, Sonny, that was the A story over on mid. We've still got the B story happening. Voxy's still been behind during all of this, and they just choose to ignore him. I guess you're not diagnosed with Voxy syndrome if you just never make the test, I guess. Oh, okay, no, they will cure him now, and he will be cleaned up, but that's a lot of wasted time.
It is. I mean, in a different world where this was still 10 minutes left on the clock, that would have really bitten them, I suppose. They having to deal with that Voxy blindness. He loves ducking into those blind spots sometimes, and it's worked out well so far this match as well.
Oh my god, Jordy didn't even know Varney was there for like 4 shots, and then just goes, what's this annoying scat, and just kills him like in 2 shots. That's my pubs.
That's very interesting.
Oh, air shutter. Oh no, denied.
No. You hate to see it. Mackie can still win this. Just believe. Mackie's still got this.
He actually has quite a foothold on these last. He does a lot of damage when they're initially coming in, but what is damage against an Uber charge? He will go down. Do they even want the last point? There we go. They actually ×4 cap it. It's a mercy rule here on the map of Metalworks. It's 5-0. Turns out 1 round pitying them in our predictions was too much here, Cerny.
Yeah, didn't quite happen. And look, I saw this in the in-game chat. It was an interesting situation to have your medic get backstabbed immediately as an unpause comes through, and probably wouldn't have had a chance to respond to it, wouldn't have heard the decloak sound or anything like that. But did it really matter in the end? It was still a 5-0, right? Like, maybe they wouldn't have won that round as quickly on the side of Maggots.
Such a powerful tilting stab.
Yeah, I think it was more of a mental damage than it really did damage to the scoreline. Because even if they hadn't done that and hadn't won the round as quickly, it would have still probably been like a 1 map anyway for the Maggots, right? Even before that, and definitely after that, they were in control almost all the time. They weren't looking like they were stumbling much for that map, no matter what the situation was. So yeah, it might be controversial that they did that pause shenanigan or whatnot, but at the end of the day, I don't think it mattered much. It didn't really break the bank in any significant way.
All right, Cerny. Obviously, that was a very hard game for Aragosta. Dirty Maggots is not a team to snuff at, so I think we're going to join them in the difficulty department. And I'm going to list out a couple of rules for you whilst we go over these logs. I want you to only say positive things about Aragosta. They need some pick-me-up right now.
Yeah,
they don't need, punching down. And I want only negative things about this Dirty Maggot squad. Okay, go.
Let me see. I gotta scan this real quick. I mean, this is actually genuinely positive. Juxta was putting in quite a lot of work for, I mean, it shows on the stat line as well. But he was quiet. Like, he wasn't really making crazy plays or anything, but he was doing solid work and keeping the team in there. I think half of the fights that actually did go the way of Aragosta was probably solely because of the damage he was dishing out and the cleanup he was providing. Varno obviously trying to be a playmaker as well, getting creative with it. It's kind of what he does. So
that last hold was very strong from Aragosta. Obviously, the dispense armor kind of flexing as a game mechanic in our comp world there, kind of showboating it. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be taking notes and be like, when playing Metalworks, build dispenser.
Yeah, that's a good one. Pickles has no kills. It's bad. Honestly,
good noob.
Bad showing from the guy. I'm usually used to him seeing like a positive KD, but that's...
Well, if you include the assists, it's actually a 5.0. He's actually got the strongest, but we'll ignore that.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. Assists don't count. They're so easy to get on medic that it might as well be nothing. They're dirt. They're worthless. Overall, I mean, look at the damage of it. It's so low. Nobody did any damage. That doesn't matter the fact that the first round was just 8 minutes of last holding. That nobody did any damage, man. Look how bad they are.
Yeah. The mids for Dirty Maggots were very dependent on Aragosta kind of throwing. Let me put it honestly. Like, they were just, they were on the defense. Like, sit there and be like, right, Aragosta, make a mistake. If Aragosta maybe just, took the ground and climbed onto point, which they did do the first round for a little bit, and
it went
they
well for them.
Yeah, and I think they. I'm not sure if they won the mid, but they won. They technically got the first cap. They won the ground.
Yeah, they technically got the first cap, but then Maggots immediately regressed once they got respawners. So,
So,
then,
but all the times they went aggressive on Dirty Maggots didn't work out, and all the times that Aragosta went aggressive didn't work out. So, are they truly better? Like, I don't think we can say.
yeah, clearly they're just evenly matched in that department. So, look, it's gonna be a different story. We're looking at Granary now. It's a different map entirely. Obviously, this is the Maggots pick, but we've seen time and time again. We talk about this all the time, right? For seasons upon seasons upon seasons now. Oh, this map was picked by this team, and this map was picked by this team, and then they end up trading maps, right? Winning each other's picks or something like that. So a lot of the time you could say, oh, they picked this map, so maybe they're confident on it, and then a lot of times you can also say it doesn't matter at all. It's completely arbitrary. So, going off the back of that, who cares that the map was picked by Dirty Maggots? Clearly, Aragosta want to play it just as much because it didn't ban it immediately. How is Granary going to shake things up here? That's a good question, because you really want your soldiers to be doing stuff here, right? And unfortunately, Jordy and KN is probably the better soldier duo on the server right now. But there's always a chance that Sia and Mackie could put out some interesting strats, especially on the mids.
Yeah, it is. You're right in that Granary does play different, especially on the mids, whereas in Metalworks you have this nice little valley area. The skies are clear. You could practically see the stars, Sony. That's how clear the skies are and telegraphed these soldiers will be. But over on Granary, you've got kind of pseudo skyscrapers in these boxes. These soldiers can jump low, they can get into the crevices, they can jump pie high in the sky and make you lose your way a little bit on mid. It's much more annoying for the scouts to deal with on this mid. As we're going straight into it, it is our second map of this week 3 game, Aragosta versus Dirty Maggots. I'm TurboTabs. I'm again joined with Cerny and Samus on production, and we have to wait because it's a long mid. It's a long road and journey. Only the Demoman will arrive. It's the Demoman 1v1 for a hot second until everybody else turns up, and it looks like nobody's getting aggressive apart from Sia trying to go behind, but Kayan's going to meet immediately Sia on the flank to stop any sort of aggression.
Dr. Direct is going to have a word with that one. Davey getting taken out as well, trying to fall back. That is unfortunate, because even with losing that soldier early, there was still some, stabilization potential for Aragosta here, but now they really have to be on the back foot, and there's so much aggression out of the Maggots already as well. They're taking yard, and they're trying to get to the second as best they can. That's Mackie taken out, and it's just falling apart. Varnu can't get the flank working either, and this is looking like a round for Maggots already at this point.
Yeah, sadly, losing Mackie is expected, but they didn't expect to maybe lose Varnu there, so now with 2 frags down going into last, you can play this a little bit slower, a bit more timid. They go right away, so there's no time to really off-class over on Aragosta. They do get the kill onto KN though, and it proves that defense is a much easier job than offense.
As well.
But is it just a good Uber though? They got 3 picks with this. It's 2 scouts. They're in kind of behind the shutter gate. 1 sticky trap can remove these scouts out of play, and they'll cap off second, but will they keep second?
Keep absolutely no shot. Worst case scenario, Maggots just use their Uber to get back into it, which, yes, puts them at a bit of a disadvantage, but the difference isn't that huge, and pushing out of last when all you have is 50% ad, as a tall order, you're asking for a lot out of a team that clearly hasn't, had the best coordination thus far, given the previous map. So, yeah, falling back to last, very safe choice for Aragosta. They're going to be at least have some time to set up some sort of last hold here, get essentially established, have a sniper, maybe catch somebody off guard, right? They're not Ubered as they walk through that door. Jux is going to have a word with it, maybe get a head off. Unfortunately, looks like the aggression is going to come from the other side. That's essentially taken out of the equation immediately before anything can really happen. Now, players are swarming the point, but KN will actually be the first to fall. And Voxy goes dangerously low as well, just barely clinging on to life. Will escape. Just about, but Samus in the meantime does die. No stickies for last pushing means it's going to be a lot harder to really lock down that point, especially when Davey is still alive and healthy. And unless Af can have a word with it, that is an Uber out of the side of Hyman Slayer. He did go dangerously low, and again, they're not going to be able to chase it, so Pickles is just holding. This is 2 Ubers now that he's just milked out completely, and another opportunity here for Maggots to get into this last of a full Uber, and this time around, they don't even have to give up second for it.
I bet you could show this last push to many different players and many different teams, and they'd have a different degree of who's winning and who's losing on during all of that, because it did kind of brings up sorts of questions of whether or not you should keep players alive or preserve the Uber. But they will use this preserved Uber on Piggles, and they pop straight in, take out the sentry gun, level 1, and already they're focusing the easy frags that have been left out from the respawn queue. But Jux is going to come back with a whole new vigor. Davy's immediately going to get kind of pressured, and they're just pressuring the point over on Dirty Maggots, and eventually will just show the Minecraft pickaxe to poor Davey in the first round on the board for Dirty Maggots.
Perhaps not as clean as the Maggots would have wanted it. Couple of attempts to really, get it going into the last pushes, but eventually they do round it out. They again seem to control for most of that. Going two Uber Forces out of the enemy team before you push last is crazy work, honestly. Pickles just keeping himself alive, keeping enough, distance between himself and everybody else to make sure that he doesn't have to pop himself, and it gets Dirty Maggots their first round here, but that doesn't mean anything is lost just yet.
Davey.
So next Uber is underway. Unfortunately, Davey got shut out from the pack. That's going to slow things down a lot for this Uber for Aragosta. He's not having a good time at all. He's in hell right now. Somebody save my man, but at least maybe he now gets his chance. Maybe the late demo was actually a strat here. They're not going to know where he is. They're not going to expect it, and then that's going to make the difference, right? So far, nobody falling just yet. No really, huge aggression either out of either team. I mean, Maggots taking a bit of ground now, and Foxy's actually going to be the first to fall forward. Jordy getting taken down as well. Trade out from Mackie on the other side. So, hey, things are going okay for Maggots. They lost Varnu. It's a 1-for-1 trade in terms of classes.
No soldiers, though. No soldiers to follow up on the damage of Davey. Davey's disconnected from his medic. He's going to have to go down. I'm afraid all the pipes just missed Davey, but they have to back out to keep his life intact. And yeah, it was a nice showing by Af to kind of get a kill out of thin air there to help his buddy out. And KN, he's going to go down. Oh. Wait, what? What? Excuse me?
He hits the direct. He hits the direct. That's what he does, Doc. Direct.
But I said he would go down. He's going off script. What's he doing?
Clearly, he did not get the memo. He forgot his line, and he decided that he's going to improvise and live instead. So now, Maggots are looking like they might want to get this second as well. Vox unfortunately dies as he walks into a sticky trap, and that's KN taken out of the equation as well. So suddenly,
oh, sorry, I'm 2 pages ahead. I'm sorry. Let me flick back. I'm sorry. Okay, there we go.
You found the script again? Alright.
Yeah, it's a really nice sometimes. Mackie, he's on top of the medic, will get some damage on the Pickles. Nice. He has to use Uber, but this is the actual rare moment for Hyman Slayer to have the advantage of the Uber charge now, and he has no pressure on him whatsoever. Af is going to stay in. Hopefully they don't lose a player to this Kamikaze Scout. He takes up a health pack. He actually gets out, draws fire away for KN to jump in and have the opportunity against Hyman Slayer. And now they're backing out. My dog, you have the Uber. But there's a back cap happening during all of this. I forgot about the B story here. There's that a separate script. Fox even gets a kill against Seal, who goes back for him. This Uber charge was used for nothing.
Nightmare. Absolute nightmare scenario, man. You got the Uber ad, you're getting slowly pushed back somehow, and then just one backcapping scout completely tears apart your entire plan. Yeah, I hate to see it. Now we find ourselves in a situation where there's a 50% ad for Pickles, aka the side of the Dirty Maggots here, and it's gonna be really quite tough for Aragosta to hang in this for any appreciable amount of time. The best they can get is somehow get an early force out or somehow catch somebody as they're trying to cap the point here, but this is probably looking like a last hold maybe, unless Hamster can get extremely quickly. They can exchange on second. There is an Uber out on the side of Maggots. Hamster doesn't quite have yet. We'll get it now though. We'll use it a lot later, but that's all that for one Jordy frag.
Oh, Jordy!
That they didn't even get! Well, they traded! Oh my god.
Oh, don't you hate the soldier class? He just shoots the ground and gets killed. He just jumped up in the air and they couldn't shoot him. He's like a pseudo parachute.
That's very unfortunate because that's Davey they killed as well, which means no demo now trying to hold last. That's an unfortunate frag to lose.
There's a lot of damage on Hyman Slayer, but they think it's way too spicy in the waters for Dirty Maggots. So let's see if we can back up. Jordy is going to have another crack at it, but doesn't quite find the medic this time either. So it will dissuade them from maybe making a push out over on Aragosta. So they're just going to check their privilege, kind of get buffed up, maybe even have a poke. But it's pretty hard now. They've already got traps set up, and all their players are back on the respawn queue.
It's looking like a good aggression out of Aragosta though. They don't even have an Uber yet, and they're really just trying to pressure this point, maybe get some sort of force out of Maggots, but they're not biting. Let's see, taken out of the equation as well, but Jordy gets traded out for it. Now the Uber has faded away, the Uber ad much rather, and there's a chance here for Aragosta to actually make something happen. If Mackie doesn't die up top fighting, and unfortunately he does, get cleaned up by half, so much for that. That's back out to last, but still, they got the Uber. Sia's gonna come up in time, so you know, the respawner missing for Mackie. Not necessarily that big of a deal considering Jordy isn't in yet either. Okay, nice bomb in.
Nice
serve. Hyman Slayer, nice serve to get out of the trouble though, and will live for now. We'll hang in there. Boxy cleaned up as well, means Maggots are gonna have to back off, but that's a dead demo surely. There you go. So, Baron dying though. Slows it down. It's a wrench. It's a wrench of the spanner in the works.
Yeah, I guess Vanu thinking he can go a bit kamikaze just because they have so many players down over on Dirty Maggots, like a free kill. They will exchange the Thomas style Uber and popping on just Jokester so you can get the multi over on Dirty Maggots, and multi they have, but they send 2 players in the high ground in the post, and they're just going to leave Af to have his own little adventure up in top. Whilst I don't really see what the rest of the plan is for Davey and company. They just left him pissing in the wind there over on second.
Yeah, it's not looking great for Aragosta at this point. I mean, surely now, again, it's a bit messy for Maggots to really get this last push on the road, but now they have a prime opportunity to do it. That's a dead medic as well. It's looking like it could be closed out. They're still not good on numbers though, actually.
No,
never mind.
Gonna go down.
Yeah, actually, this is Aragosta.
Is he going to go down? Excuse me, am I skipping pages again? He actually weasels his way out. Kenyan is playing pocket for a brief moment to keep his medic buddy alive, but that was definitely an opportunity for a chase there.
It was possible. Kenyan gets it just in time, though. And Aragosta, against all odds, actually stabilized. That was not looking like they were going to be able to hold this last, but they just somehow miraculously find the frags on last. Managed to get their second back underneath their own flag. Now it's just a matter of will they be able to hold on to it for a while? Because
yeah, but all of that's only good, Sammy, if you get the kill onto Piggles there. He is the one holding all the cards for Dirty Maggots, and they're already pushing in through top. They've got an Uber charge that they're willing to use, but they're just taking their time here 1 second. They get the clean kill onto Mackie. There is a sentry gun to deal with, but that's going to get spammed out rather quickly. They use the Uber relatively late, and they're keeping all these players alive and baited out. Davey's going to go down next, and well, they've got 2 scouts. 2 scouts is powerful in the world of TF2, but it's just far too scrappy and far too low ammo for these scouts to work with. It's 2-0.
2-0, but it has been 11 minutes for that to happen, so it's not like it's the fastest ever wins for Maggots so far. They especially they seem really messy with these conversions, right, from second into last. It's always something always going wrong. Like, they're still in control at the end of the day. They're still winning, but a lot of times they just lose a couple too many players, and then they have to back out again, slow down again, and then just somehow a soldier sneaks in and gets the force anyway, right? But
Davy's too low and he can't make it to the health pack in time. It's got 3 stickies on it. They really, really want to deny this man love. And he gets a couple of spam rockets as well to welcome into the mid. And it's okay. Sia this time is going to go for the play like he did in the first round. But this time he's actually leveling up and managed to get the kill onto KN. Hyman Slayer left out in the middle. Easy for Jordy to line up the shots, thread the needle for the eye of the storm. And Pickles, he just needs us to keep one thing on his mind, and that's to stay alive.
And that he is doing very, very well, easily, mind you. Only 2 players left to aggress him, and both of them kind of just even confused as to where he is as he's ducking and weaving between the containers. Yeah, that's a very decisive mid-win for the Maggots here, and realistically, another round for them to lose the conversion on. I guess we'll see whether or not they actually managed to. And I don't know if my game crashed. I think my game has crashed somehow.
You are crashed, because I am fine. But I can tell you, I can give you a little radio cast.
I mean, I got the stream feed at least, so...
Alright, fair enough. So we're just getting postured up, all set up, ready, buffed up for our last push. We're taking our sweet time with it though, but we finally pop off Uber now. Zams goes for a little hop and a skip and a jump onto the sentry gun, takes out that, and already sticking up that left hand door for the rest of Aragosta. Nice pipes coming out from Zams to contribute to his team to killing these leftover soldiers. And poor Davey, poor Juxta, they don't even have time to have impact from leaving the respawn.
Yeah, that's another round. There you go. That was pretty clean, pretty easy to do. Can't really fault them for losing the last hold there on the side of Aragosta, but hey, it is what it is. Another opportunity for them to maybe get a good mid-threat on the board. Unfortunately, I feel like a lot of these are going down to the fact that Davey just can't quite get to the pack in time, right? Zams maybe just slightly faster. Davey just not quite getting there in time. It's looking like it might very well be the same thing again.
It goes again,
does get it this time around. Okay, does get the pack at least for once. That's something. but will this actually turn the tide to the mid-fight as well? Because Varnu's already so low, meaning he's out of the fight for a little bit at least before he gets healed back up, and unless these soldier bombs can do something, see a big eye directly onto the medic, does get the frag onto Pickles now. No heals in play, but unfortunately...
It's time to leave. Get out, boys. Mission accomplished.
Live. That's all you gotta do now.
Oh my god, everybody is jumping in. Zams is even on top of Hyman Slayer. Oh, gets the pipe onto Hyman Slayer. Excuse me, Zams, I wasn't aware of your game.
That's a naughty one. That's a very naughty. Unbelievable. The one time Aragosta like kind of looked like they might be winning a mid-fight and get away with something, and then it just slips directly out of their fingers again. Very unfortunate, but hey, at least they won a mid. They still have a chance here, mind you. There's still 16 minutes left on the clock of this map. It is plenty of time to get 3 rounds on the board, and if this is where Aragosta starts stabilizing, even with the unfortunate loss of Hyman Slayer there, you know, there's still a chance here. Absolutely, they can still do something here. Dirty Maggots are going to take a while to get that Uber going truly and get themselves in position, and who knows, maybe you can catch yourself an early little frag or early little force or something like that, right? Depending on how Aragosta plays this. It's in their best interest to have this hold somehow go well. Either not lose too many players, or somehow get an early force. If they're just going to Uber early, that's a big demo bomb across the
Oh, that's a lot of damage.
Damage as well. Oh, Hyman Slayer is so screwed.
They can't quite get him, but they get every other frag for basically free, as they obviously have the help of the Uber charge. Everybody else kind of enters in the blink of an eye, and yeah, it just makes them easy pickings. And sadly, I would say they actually got off lightly, I would say, for Aragosta. They could have lost Hyman Slayer there. They could have lost the war, but they only lose the battle.
That's a beautiful bomb display by Zams right across the point. If it wasn't for him getting stuck on the door frame, hitting his head, missing one of the pipes, one of the stickies, that would have been a dead medic for sure. So the saving grace, really, that one little slip up, tiny little letting go of the sticky button, the frame too soon, and it keeps Aragosta in this. Unfortunately for them, they took so long to reassess themselves. Pickles already has an Uber again.
Yep, we use Uber straight away, which, oh my god, yeah, he has Uber, and they're like, what the, how has this guy got? But credit to Davey, he does get out just as quickly as he got in. And to say you just lose Mackie during all this could have gone a lot worse.
Yeah, but man, they could have made much more use of that if they moved a lot quicker.
Okay, I don't know what you were smoking there, thinking they wouldn't have that trap. So they throw in Geordie during all the chaos, but they're holding the line. Davey needs a couple of love arrows, but they will just lose out on their soldiers instead. And again, a light sort of punishment for Aragosta, and they're actually getting proactive.
Yeah, they're getting away with more as well. They're starting to really lock down these plays better, and well, if they can manage to find their way into this mid at some point now, the Ubers are finally equal. Hyman Slayer eats a lot of damage though, so they gotta back off again. Gotta wait for that medic to be healthy if you want to have any chance at pressuring through these choke points, because these choke points are nasty. They are not an easy thing to just deal with, and that fortunate KN has found his way into the yard, and he is being a menace. Alright, they managed to kill him before he gets away with anything, so that's fine, but man, is that scary.
What is on the playbook for Aragosta? How are they going to break these mid divides? It's probably the most contentious section of the entire map, the signature of Granary. How do you break mid?
It is possible, but pushing into mid in a stalemate is so much harder than pushing into yard or into second, so it's really down to how they can manage to sneak somebody in there. And now KN is trying to be a bit of an X factor here, picking up the rifle, seeing if just a shot through choke here is all that it takes. Just one shot to get onto like some sort of semi-important target.
He's going to be called out here, so Hyman Slayer takes the position, but this does mean that the heals are a little cut off for the rest of Aragosta, but this is an advantage that maybe they could take advantage of over on Dirty Maggots, I should say, not Maggot Slayers. That doesn't make sense.
Well, that's what Aragosta are, if anything.
Ah, yes. They've been catching me off with all these 0 rounds they've been slaying away with.
Yeah, there's potential. It's like a theoretical, right? They have huge potential. They just gotta.
Yeah, they're just learning. They're learning to slay the maggots. You know, it takes study, research.
Yeah, they're doing their internship right now, unpaid, of course. SKN is just holding down the garage, man. He was waiting for that medic to turn the corner, but didn't pull the trigger on Varnu, and now there's a bit of ground perhaps for Aragosta there, at least for a bit. It's tough here, man, because Aragosta don't want to be too aggressive, and KN is getting a lot of aggressive angles potentially here out of Garage. That's a scary one, because that's a deep angle. Doesn't quite hit the shot on the scout. Now it's going to be confronted at least by a soldier, perhaps, but man, is that a scary position to just, you know, have a sniper aiming at you from. Doesn't get away with anything so far, though.
Yeah, they're just kind of chilling with it. I think maybe playing a bit more of the spam game because they know that they've cut this a little bit in half, but because of the position that KN takes, he can eventually just get bum rushed down, and okay, well, not every day that you lose all these sorts of players in these sections of the map, so we kind of just let us kind of settle for a second before we evaluate what we want to do, but they want to hold mid over on Piggles and company with their 2 scouts, and despite having a numbers advantage over on Aragosta, they don't want to make the push to mid.
It works out for them for now, but
oh no, Samus too slow.
Oh, that's a beautiful little jump through by KN.
Oh no, Mackie's gone down.
Yeah, wins the fight against Mackie as well, and now it's starting to look at the dive for Aragosta because they used as well in the exchange, obviously. So they're on the back foot. They are down a player. They have a sniper as well. KN is still behind, just being a nuisance in the back line. Just going to drop straight down onto Davey here. Catch him out. Now there's just 3 players left. One of them is a sniper again. Unless Varnu can hit the craziest shots of his life right now, he's not going to be contributing that much to the fight. And it's just starting to fall apart for Aragosta. They're back on their last. That's a nice shot there to clean up Af at the very least. Get him out of the equation. Maybe slow things out a bit. But will this be enough for Aragosta to stabilize? They kill KN as well. Jordy's dangerously low. Voxy gets cleaned up. So they're fine. They're stabilizing at the very least.
Here I thought Varnu going on the sniper would just kind of add fuel to the fires that they were having over on Aragosta, but he's actually the only one that's been kind of neutralizing things a little bit because of the sniper gameplay. It does switch off now. They're on a different gear, and they need to get a bit proactive. It's 9 minutes, oh sorry, 10 minutes I should say left, and they got 3 rounds to make up. This is Granary, the long rounds, you know what I'm saying?
Well, unless you're TCM, circa, like what, 2009? Anyway, Uber Exchange. They can find Zams in it, which is actually a pretty big deal, because now in the post-Uber fight, there's going to be a lot of damage missing for the Maggots, unless, obviously, they find Justa immediately and just get their soldiers dealing a lot of it, but Varnu's there for the cleanup, and
nice.
The cleanup that they get, that's 4 players down, it's only Piggles left alive, and he's trying to escape as best he can for the time being, just to at least get away for a while, but oh, he's getting dangerously low. Will he be able to escape, though? Looks like he's eluded them, somehow. He manages to slip away once more.
I almost wonder if the Zams drop was kind of like intentional. It's like, Zams, you need to die here because I need someone to back me out when I go running away later. So it was just perfectly timed. He will keep his buddy safe. And oh, how does Davey get picked off at this point?
He loves being disconnected from the rest of his team and in a position where he just ends up
Zams is in, by the way. Like, Zams is completely... No? Yeah, okay. The Donoman of... there must be some cosmic radiation hitting all the black men in the server. They're all going to go down and just lose some brain cells and just die. But, yeah, okay. We're trying to see if we can weasel out some kills over on KM, but we'll back out instead. Okay, yeah, we managed to get out cleanly, nicely.
Somehow, after all of that, Aragosta come out on top.
Okay,
I mean, okay, yeah, Varnu in the backlines, but hey, that's what you do. That's what you do. You know, it's just that's how you do it. Anyway, look, Aragosta have stabilized. They're still on the push forward here, and it's gonna be not the easiest task for the Maggots to actually get out of their second now. Getting out of second into yard again. This yard area is nice. It's nice to control. It's pretty easy to hold as long as you know you don't let people slip past you on the other side, which they do. And Davey, oh my God. Okay, well it's Uber exchange at least, even if he's not. It's not even an exchange. What am I saying? Heroes pop so much later. It's so much better for Maggots, and they're certainly gonna catch out this combo. There's no shot Hyman Slayer lives here. Jordy's on the chase already.
So dead,
he's so screwed. Yep.
Oh my God, oh, it's a bad timeline. There's so many fires everywhere. How is Varnu on top of the crates? He will manage to get himself into a corner. I think they know he's there. And man, things are going from bad to worse for Aragosta.
What was once a chance has fizzled away so quickly because Davey loves walking into rockets.
I don't think he was walking into rockets. He was more like he was stationary into rockets. But to give credit to Davey, I think somebody probably should have alleviated some of the nice air shot, and they probably should have alleviated some of the pressure against him
Ooh, he's doing damage though. There you go. Clean up
Gets
with
the Pickles kill.
Yeah,
He's
alright,
on his own though. Buddy,
the
it
roamer
needs his
demo.
team's help, but they're going to leave him to die. They really don't want to address him right now, and yeah, they were just lacking a little bit of teamwork. And speaking of teamwork, we've got not just 1 times cap, but 3 times cap.
And it's a bad cap again as well, which means the combo's getting pulled back. Voxy's now just laying down the pain as Zams is able to follow up. And yeah, I mean, they killed Zams, I suppose, but does it matter much at all when you're already ready to push last and you're gonna have a fat Uber out to work with as well? And this Mackie has a word with it, which, well, he got Voxy. He's fighting for his life.
How does KN come out winning in these situations? He's got 2 people's attention, and yet he's the one that will win some of these fights. He's taking another fight against Seer on the flank as well, and
3,000 hours of MGE does for you, I guess. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, Seer goes down. So that's 2 entry frags they can make going into this last, but will they do it without the Uber?
You think they're going to be that keen? You think they're going to go that quickly? I mean, they could probably afford to. There's not much of a defense built so far. They got a sentry gun, I guess, but I guess we'll see. They think they're just waiting for it. It's not like it takes very long to get there, and it's still a fat Uber to work with anyway. 50% is plenty of time to try and get in as the Uber comes through. Sentry gets taken down immediately, obviously, and now the other spawn door is gonna get shut down. So it's on Aragosta to try and rotate this out, kite this out somehow. Unfortunately, both soldiers are already out of the equation. Davey gets killed as well, so there's nobody gonna be defending that point at all. And that's a 3rd round on the board now. Like, sorry, 4th round on the board for Dirty Maggots.
I think I'd love to go a bit more into detail about these last points for Aragosta, because it's obviously completely different to their Metalworks. Metalworks felt like they had much more of a plan or kind of a strong sort of rotation of how to deal with these Ubers coming in, but the Ubers have just been so clean for Dirty Maggots, and it just looks so powerless over on Aragosta, and it makes you wonder, there's got to be power going somewhere.
Yeah, but clearly it's not going to whatever the strategy is for holding Granary last. So I suppose we'll see if this mid fight is where it all turns around. This is where the comeback starts. This is where they truly have an opportunity. Sia, unfortunately, dies immediately as KN has decided to go heavy to mid. They have a parachute soldier with Jordy just raining down hell.
They're just ignoring.
Somehow
he dies on the fall.
Sure. Somehow
the laser beam.
Okay. You know what? There's a strat there, and the laser beam heavy to mid. It kind of works.
Drops down, gets the double kill. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy for Af, and Mackie's going to come in late to the party, but they've got that heavy weapons guy, the anti-air gun. Perfect, I guess, kind of collapse between all these sorts of strategies, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, this is what you see in garbage time, when you can just get away with anything, and
it works.
It works. Yeah, somehow it works. I guess it's just the novelty, the X factor of it. You just can't expect it, right? It's the most random BS go type stuff that you can possibly do. And well, Jordy's on the spy. They don't have any soldiers. They have a crit streak still, and you know KN is gonna want those laser beams again as best he can as they're going up for the rotation for Lunchbox, maybe.
No, though, if we can master the stairs, KN is slowly walking up there. Jordy's going down during all this, so we're going to maybe pop up the crits. And we get 1 kill. They can just walk away here.
No.
Davey is sticking around, wants to toe the line, but they've already given up so much ground to kind of respect the crits there. Why did they give them the respawn? Okay.
Interesting. I mean, curious.
Well, there could be a back cap made by a heavy weapons guy of all things.
He's
taking a steak sandwich.
Okay. Oh, it was Christian. Okay, that is the holiday punch. I mean, that would have been crazy. Can you imagine?
Yeah, I think sadly that's the gloves though. I think that do no damage, so he has to punch someone and then taunt kill them.
Yes, but that would be funny.
The Geordie Pyro. Many people have wrote famously about how ineffective this pyro is, but he's going to make a go at it. It's a ×1 cap on the back cap, which is just as powerful as a ×5. He actually gets the kill. They can make the block onto mid. Holy mean, they stop KN for blocking them, and then they get back on now. They force the Uber charge. The ×1 pyro cap. He's gonna get slain by Vanu on the sniper.
Then the crits come out on AF as well, so it doesn't even matter if the back cap does anything. Oh my god.
Yeah, just the sniper recap has got it.
Surely, surely.
I don't think this is Trash Town. This is Clown Town. They're just.
But this is
Clicking
like
the
watching. This is like watching the Mario Kart server. You know the old Mario Kart map.
Where's the taunt that makes you turn into the cart?
Yeah, that would be a good one. Just to start driving around. It's Halloween. Bumper cars are Halloween thing, right?
Oh, Geordie is too powerful. No, he isn't. Hyman Slayer.
He's got the Vita Saw.
I think he actually is the one that runs that full time permanently. I don't think that's actually a Clown Town regular thing. I think that's something he thinks is in Trash Town.
Well, at least it's out. It's in full swing, and Zams almost manages to win a round single-handedly. But hey, I think Maggots are seeing just how little they can try to win a round and still win a round. You know, at this point they threw a lot of random BS out there, and are still kind of getting away with it as well. As coming up with another crits sooner than Heimsley is going to come up with an Uber, and it doesn't matter because Kane
just killed 2 people.
Yeah, just diffs 2 people up top. That's a headshot onto Voxy, but it's going to matter. Nope, because Heimsley is dead. There's C out of the equation as well. Apple's just going to run to the point, and it's going to be over.
Well, 5-0.
5-0.
Logs.
And is there much to glean at this point?
Let's look at the logs. Let's look at the logs.
Yeah, we can look at them, but I'm just saying, I feel like we're going to see some very one-sided numbers, given what we've just witnessed. But hey, you know, we'll see, I suppose.
Well, I'm looking at the logs now. The atypical things that show up is Varno's still got high damage to say he's playing a game of a 5-0 Fortress.
Yeah,
and
true.
Piggles still has no kills. Good God, Piggles, pick up your game.
But he also did die 2.5 times less than
twice.
Slayer.
Twice more in this game compared to the last game.
True, he did die twice as many times on this map as he did on the first. That's true. Still, you know.
Voxy didn't have too hot of a game. As you can tell, we're trying really hard to focus on the positives for Aragosta here.
Yeah.
Voxy didn't have quite nearly as a dominating game as the previous Metalworks map. But, I mean, I think it was more the KN show. I think they're all just, like, taking turns. Who kind of shines their light.
Yeah. It's also, you know, I think this actually does reflect it well, and does, you know, with how little it really matters considering it was a 5-0 roll. But it does show how Varnu and Juxta were kind of putting in the most work for the team of Aragosta, because they are topping the charts of their team, at least, in pretty much every stat. And I mean, you know, numbers only tell so much, but in this case, it's pretty obvious that, like, yeah, those two were definitely doing the most at any given point. Sia and Maki were just not having a good match today. It doesn't matter either map. They were doing a bit better, I think, on Metalworks, mind you. But they were just having a horrible map on Granary. They were just not getting anything done at all. They were getting diffed by KN horribly. And even Jordy was obviously doing a lot with his damage, right? So yeah, it was just a story of the soldier duos being horribly outmatched.
Yeah, and it seems like whenever they got an Uber advantage over Aragosta on these last points, it was like an absolute nail in the coffin. I didn't see any sort of resistance, it felt like, or any kind of plan. It just looked like a very simple pop onto Zams, takes out the sentry gun, rotates to the other side, shuts down the door. Everybody else on Dirty Maggots just nukes the other door. I don't know who's like staying out there, who's giving them fights, who's making things difficult in their lives. You know, maybe just, I'm not even sure if I saw any off classes, if I'm honest, past the sentry gun. So, and maybe the Varno sniper doesn't count as well. That's more like a permanent class.
I'd have to actually check. Did Varno maybe end up playing more sniper? No, not quite. Only 5 minutes of it, as opposed to 20 minutes of scout.
It felt longer.
Yeah, it felt longer. Even if it was only 20% of the match, it felt like it was a lot more. But
weirdly, I think it was probably when they were doing the best was just this Varno sniper throwing uncertainties into the mix and forcing Dirty Maggots to play their game rather than the other way around.
But that is how it is. To be fair, I think at the end of the day, I don't think anybody's truly surprised by this outcome. I think everybody expected Dirty Maggots would win in the end. So it's not like this is unheard of, unfortunately for Aragosta. But this also means that, let's just look at what's to come for Aragosta, right? Yeah, they got to go up against Witness next week.
Ugh.
but at least they'll have a match against Pint Gaming, which is probably their best chance at least taking some points, even though Pint Gaming have
No.
also been looking really good.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, right now Aragosta is looking like the bottom team. And somebody has to be. There's only 6 teams. At the end of the day, one team has to be the worst in Prem for the season. And right now it's looking like Aragosta are unfortunately destined to be in that position, but they can at least make a name for themselves, get some points or whatever if they stick it out until the final week, and maybe take some points off of Pint Gaming, because if they were struggling this much against DM, I don't think they're gonna have a better time against Witness next week. But yeah.
All right, so let's stop breaking down. The breakdown of Aragosta. Let's cut the brakes. Let's hit the showers. Let's cut the tape, and
there'll be a different
say
team
our
next
goodbyes.
Week. There'll be a different team. They'll be new. They'll go into the hyperbolic time chamber. We'll be seeing greatness.
All right, so come on, say bye to the stream. We must go.
Bye. It's
bye
good.
Bye.
We'll see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow for the next match.
Yeah. Bye now. Ta-ta. Cheerio.